Greetings. In this video, going to screen recording mode or formats in this one is to cover why do people love or otherwise prefer negativity in general and mass compared to positivity. And to go over this in a fine detail that was made known and revealed, all the glory belongs to the Father, is that in Proverbs 8 here, and for those who have options, there is a Berean Standard Version, King James, the Hallelujah Scriptures, as well as the Yah Scriptures, YHWH, Mark S. Yah's Scriptures. You go to the Yah Scripture website and they have their version of the Hallelujah Scriptures with the Apocryphal books attached, an additional book that was not originally in the Scriptures. So with those two versions, you get you get more of a authentic read when you use the Hallelujah Scriptures, because you're going to have a transliteration that's going to express more the original context of what's being said. Even though there will be more words here and there that are not your regular language, they're still consistent in general. Also, you will find more areas where it's specific. For example, in the King James, when it says L word, and when it says the G word, you will find in areas where it specifically refers to the Father and where it refers to the Son. And then when you read the titles, you're going to see many different titles, such as the presence of Yahweh, as well as the rock. So you will read about titles and references to Yeshua HaMashiach, who is also known as Jesus Christ. And then you will read about titles that refers to the Father. And when you do a study in that in the different areas, and those of you who seek to find more to add to your prayer life, then those titles can help you when going to prayer, seeking the Father on a matter. That way, when you pray, you can reach to the Father on different areas, so that by chance you keep going to the Father in those areas to seek a breakthrough, healing, revelation, and getting through different trials, tests, persecutions, tribulation, and whatever's standing before you to go forward, even in areas to grow into. That way you can also go on to perfection as well too. So with the Scriptures, depending what computer you use, you may be able to go to that website and download the online version to read the Scriptures and the version it's like the Hallelujah Scriptures from your computer or tablet. And depending on what browser you use, perhaps from your mobile device too. So to go back on the context here, let's go back to the end of Proverbs 8 to start with the specific point here. Now to keep it in context here, verse 32. Now then, my children, listen to me. Barak are those who keep my ways. And that's referring to wisdom. Those who receive wise counsel, wise instruction, who are disciplined along the way. For example, if you go to the apocryphal book, Wisdom, it talks about how wisdom, when someone's in the faith, will test that person in the faith. And so you'll go through situations and sometimes by experience have successes, failures in different areas. So you may have hit and miss. In other cases, you just may be trying to do something and it'll be a work in progress. So whatever you're trying to do or achieve, you become disciplined. So wisdom will try you to keep it in specific. And so when you go through, you receive. Listen to my instruction and be wise. Do not disregard it. So why is that being mentioned here? Here's an area of doctrine that comes from the devil's system, through the Catholic Church system, all the way down to its children, such as mainstream Christianity and such. So one of the doctrines that attempt to leaven the soul of a born-again believer, someone born again of the YHWH, and even in the physical area too, when you take this from a physical aspect as well too, from a physical lens, there are people where they're given instruction, skill, discipline, knowledge, information, and intelligence of something to be aware of in advance, something to be aware of when looking into something. So you have the scoop on it, whether it's something tangible you know how to do now or can do, or something that's immaterial that with your mind, even your speech, as well as your soft skills, your white collar skills too, where you can apply yourself in there too. So it gives instruction that what you're given, do what you can to maintain it, and if you're starting to slip, then get back into it. Get back into it, get back on your feet, and get back into it. When you fall down and scrape your knee real bad, or you face plant, you crash out, you have one of those moments where, hey, maybe the devil himself may rise up against you and really try to clown you out and do something to you, just try to skull drag you and run you through the arena, through the filth, and through the gauntlet. Just get back up and turn to the Father. And seek the Father's help, even moving forward too. And areas where you came short into, to seek the Father so that He can pull you back up and restore you. That way you can keep moving forward and achieve that success, go to newer heights, even go into perfection, especially in areas originally you didn't know that you could, or had knowledge that it could be done, and how to do it, how to achieve it, and the whole 9 yards, from step 1 to step 12. And so how this ties in with the spiritual side through the spirit world is that when you're given things from the Most High Himself, from Yahweh Elohim, especially if it's been put into you, you've been made with, and so forth, however it means you have it, especially the knowledge of the things of the faith and awesome things you received from being in the faith, born again of the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to maintain these things, even ask for the spirit of recall, retention, and remembrance. And if possible too, a sound mind. Even ask for the renewing of your mind, as well as a refreshing and renewing of your soul, even of your spirit. So whatever area of your faculties, whether it's on the surface level, such as your physical body and your brain, your neurons and everything else, or if it's in the depths, the immaterial, such as the parts of you that reside in the spirit world, such as your soul, as well as your spirit, if it's whole, been affected by something, if you got into some of the wrong kind of stuff and you're quite not like yourself, that you may be restored in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Because what can happen to people who don't get back up, there's a mention where different situations, people they fall from the faith, they throw in the towel. There's people where they're really down for a long time or some period of time. Either the Father himself or someone comes around and reaches to them to encourage them and to continue in the faith, to get back up from all the things that's come upon them, and to be encouraged, motivated, even to receive prayer and the help needed to continue and get back on the straight and narrow. Because that's one of the favorite tactics of the devil, is that if they and their demons can watch you enough and get enough details and try to figure out and do something against you, especially if you're praying for the will of the Father to be done, especially being used to destroy the works of the kingdom of darkness, they're going to try to find a way to get you back. So being aware of the possibility of what they might try to do, it helps to know, so that way whenever you go through a situation or you're being challenged in certain areas of your life, in certain situations, you have a challenge coming, then you're able to perceive it, to know what it is, and to catch it right in the then and there. And also to pray against it, and also go into prayer as well too. So whenever you see demons showing up in people, places, and things, you can address them to shut them down. That way, whatever the devil try to do, you shut it down. You bind those demons in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Also, you loose angels. It goes against those demons to tear them up. As well as you loose ministering angels to help you where you're at, even to go to people, places, and things, including situations that you may have favor, and especially go into prayer and take it to the Father for Him to take your cares and burdens into His hands and to go before you. And whatever part of the scriptures of the Word itself that may be given to you or that you go to find, pull up and use in prayer so that you can push through, overcome, and you prosper, and the Father be glorified at the conclusion of the matter. So specifically, again, in this area, there's a lot of people when they get into all these different denominations, what they'll try to do is they'll try to pacify your mind in some kind of shape, fashion, or form if they're about that kind of business in general. That's one of the main tactics of quote-unquote religion that goes, you can go read the word for yourself. The temple is there to be a house of prayer for those who are in the faith and come into the faith, to go to the house of prayer. It is not to be a den of thieves. Also, even in the New Testament, in the book of Acts, those who are born again of the YHWH, as well as those who are being interested in what's going on and drawn near to the faith, to even be drawn in by the Spirit of the Father, by the YHWH, then they can come together without the quote-unquote building to go to, without the designated place that He used to set His presence at. And so when 2 or 3 are gathered in His name, He's there in the midst of them, and even with them on their daily travel, they're going on, going in, even going out of the city into the fields, and going out of the field into the city. Because when they keep the faith, they keep His law, statutes, commandments respectfully towards them, then what's the benefits of Deuteronomy 28 rest upon them. So when they're doing right on the side of the Father's sight, then they can experience the good, and that's the thing that a lot of denominations do not know, because they had to take away from the Father's instructions, His commandments, the law, the Torah. At different points they can experience the wrath of the Father coming upon them, the wrath of Yahweh coming upon them, and they think that it's one thing. And especially if you're going to their services and they're continuously transgressing against the Father, they're going to sit there and convince you, in other words, gaslight you into thinking that, oh, it's just the adversary attacking us, people. We need to get into spiritual warfare, people. When you clearly need to see their fruits to find out they're good fruits. Can they find anything to repent of? Are they committing sin, iniquity, and transgression in the sight of the Father? Are they doing something in secret? So it's bringing the wrath of Yahweh upon them. Hey, they're trying to hide their sins, iniquities, and transgressions. Just take in a prayer and ask the Father to search out the wickedness of those who are around you and that are not around you, especially those that you know of, and don't know of until no more wickedness can be sought out nor searched out. To search out all their wickedness till none can be found out. And that's in one of the Psalms. In the name of YHWH HaMashiach. So what it is here with verse 33, just like all these denominations, especially mainstream Christianity will teach people, is that they cannot grieve the Ruach HaKodesh, the authentic Holy Spirit, to depart from them and just leave them. And they can't comprehend, especially either in the Book of Wisdom or one of those apocryphal books, where if you're up to no good and you're plotting evil, you're just waiting to do it, your mind is locked into doing some evil, the spirit of wisdom will pack up and leave you behind. They're not trying to get defiled by you. You're walking around with that coolie smile thinking, oh yeah, yes, that's right, yeah. And then you're so stuck, and you get stuck in that mode, and that kind of mindset, you don't want to get out of it, or snap out of it, and you're just going about it like a brute beast. And then you're either escapes your mind, or you're wondering like, hey, what's going on here? Or something happens and you're trying to figure out how to get out of this jam that you just got yourself into. Oh boy. Oh yeah, what's that? Sometimes it takes getting into a jam and you realize, hey, whatever you were trying to do that was not out the folder at all, period, you just got into your mind and you went with it. You gotta turn to the folder and repent. Turn away from that stuff that you was doing and get yourself in. And seek the Father and wait on Him, that He may pull you up and have mercy and favor on your being, on your soul. So that when you snap out of it and get back in line, back in the straight and narrow with them, then the spirit of wisdom can come back to you and instruct and guide your being. That way, you don't get wrapped up into foolishness, reckless things, and all sorts of things that could just take you down the wrong kind of path. Now to verse 34. Barak are those who listen to me, watching daily at my doors, waiting at my doorway. So some people, depending how they interact and how they go to the Father in prayer, there's some areas where you can just go about your business and it overrides your senses as well as your instincts that you would have and operate by, even your reflexes, including your, first nature, second nature, and third nature, to override those as well too, and have you to operate in such a way to where you're able to prosper and do what you gotta do. And it's a clear distinction of how to operate as a child of the King, because there are things that wisdom will give you, the spirit of wisdom will give you, as well as the angel of wisdom and all these other ministering spirits that come from the kingdom of the Shemayim, from the Father's kingdom, to the believers who are born again, to reach them, even revelation, to reach them, so that as they go on their business, their daily life, they're proactive in their minds, just staying busy. Then, as they are patient in their minds while they're keeping themselves busy on what they're doing, then they can receive something from one of the ministering spirits that comes from the Father to instruct them and help them to do different type of functions. For example, you may not know how to do a skill, and even you see a challenging situation, but all of a sudden, like that, at the snap of a finger, something comes to your mind, comes to your senses, even comes to some of your faculties, such as your hands, your eyes, your mouth, and other areas, to tune in your senses, or to give you inspiration to do things. And so when you interact on it, then you receive the positive results. Then there's other areas too where sometimes you're facing a barricade, a barrier, a blockage. And sometimes you have that challenge. Is either the size of a hill or it's set up to hill like a mountain. And so even those two who go that route or use that area of prayer too can ask the Father to give them wisdom, knowledge, understanding, as well as the strength, encouragement, and the might, and anything else they can ask for, as well as favor, to go through this big challenge that's before them, or that they're in the middle of. That way they can overcome, and the Father gets the credits, the praises, thanks, and appreciation. And also it's taught as well too. There are those who learn about prayer in different areas too. So some people can ask the Father too to send them wisdom, even to send wisdom, revelation, insight, foresight, comprehension, light, truth, insight, foresight, spirit-led decisions, utterance, and anything else that could come to mind to someone else, to reach that person, even to a place or a thing, so that those ministering angels can go to work on instructing as well as getting interactive with the environment there to bring in some results. For example, you could be going throughout your day and you may be skilled and experienced in prayer in certain areas. So if you don't speak in tongues, for example, for certain reasons, whether it's, once in a while kind of things, once in a while kind of situations where you would speak in tongues, or it's one of those occasions where all of a sudden it gets you start speaking in tongues. And there's other areas too where there's people where they're more inclined, more equipped, more experienced in speaking tongues. That way they can communicate, especially to the Father, what matters at the here and now, even in different areas that you don't know what to pray for from your mind, from your understanding, even from your senses, so that when you pray in tongues by the YHWH, by being moved and inspired, and you communicate, then whatever is needed can be communicated thoroughly without any blockage nor barrier getting in the way of that specific area. And there's some people where, for example, they might be in certain areas too, so they might even pray. And for example, they may be in certain areas where the environment's not so conducive in prayer, where there's evil in the environment, or you're just in certain regions, for example, you're going through a certain state, a certain country, or a region where there's certain, principalities or rulers and such operating in that area. So some people might go so far as to go and, for example, they bind the principality, the world ruler, and even the thrones, dominion, and the masteries over the area, the region, as well as the country that they reside in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. And they also may even command in prayer, they bind any evil spirits and wicked spirits in the heavenlies, as well as over the airway and the environments too, especially monitoring spirits and any wicked spirits that may seek to hinder, block, or stop prayer in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. That way when they go in prayer like that, results. And the outcome of it too, whether it be instantaneous or down the road when it shows up, whether it's minutes later, hours later, even even days later too. In some cases, you get results like that, and when it shows up, there it is. Now, verse 35. For those who find me find life and receive favor from Yahweh. So with this right here, here's the thing. Whenever a young man finally grows up, especially in his mind, in his head, his faculties, so the natural part of his head, his physical faculties, such as the brain itself, the neurons, the gray matter, as well as the other areas that are developed. Some men in general, their physical bodies mature around 20 to 25. So around 20-25 is where the usual range of maturity achieves to the preferred range, especially where the mind clicks, and all of a sudden now you want to behave like an adult or like a grown-up individual. Now you want to process thought like a grown-up individual. Now you want to see, perceive, and look at things like a grown individual, especially when it comes to the 30s. Some young men have to take to the 30s to get it where it clicks in their minds. It's like a barrier where once you hit that certain, you hit a certain area of your age range, and all of a sudden the light comes on. All of a sudden you realize, hey, wait a minute. What have I been doing all these years? I gotta do X, Y, and Z over here and over there. And I have so many, I don't know how long, but I gotta start doing things and get them done. And when you start finding out about all these things out here in the world, the material things and the immaterial things, you start to realize you have a journey. You have a journey of things to attend to. If you can find the right people to get with, to accomplish those things and get them done, excellent. Glory be to the Father. Because even right then and there in His commandments, the law, it says, be you perfect, for I am perfect. And be you set apart, for I am set apart. So another example of this is that people, when they seek positive things, they seek the good things in life, the constructive things, the things that add value, the things that take you to the next level in the right kind of direction. Especially when you're growing, there's areas where you can become perfected in, prepared and equipped, and the function into. So when you choose the positive crowds, especially those that have some kind of level of reverence towards the Father, a healthy fear of Yahweh, Elohim, then you can find things that attend to life, to things that are filled with life, with quality, things that add value, that are assets and not liabilities to your to the immaterial areas, as well as those things that tie in on the physical side too. For example, people can get high quality health products to have good maintenance of their health, to function in an optimal condition, so that in their faculties on the physical side, they're able to process thought and the whole thought longer, more deeper, as well as to function at a higher capacity. So, for example, people who have the minds of chess masters, as well as leaders, positive political leaders, and people who know how to make some movement and big results, their minds and their bodies are able to go towards that direction, to function at a higher capacity. So people are running on supercomputers. When you're born again of the Ruach HaKodesh, you receive prayer so that whatever generational curses have been around in your life, as well as any spirits, wicked spirits, including generational wicked spirits, such as, for example, Leviathan, Belial, Pride, Ahab, Jezebel, Esau, witchcraft, darkness, ignorance, stupidity, foolishness, religious spirits, and so forth. When you get those things cast out of you, as well as you have prayer too, for angels to go destroy any device and any earthen vessel that contains fragments of your soul that was either taken out over the years, and especially perhaps parts of the soul have been occupied by demons, so those demons have to be cast out in the mighty name of YHWH HaMashiach. And then those areas be filled with the fragments of your soul that have been taken out or removed, even broken off. Because some people, they receive generational spirits as well as generational things that pass down. So when they get prayer, they repent and have those curses and legal grounds broken off and set free in the mighty name of YHWH HaMashiach. Then whatever areas of your faculties and function, especially the immaterial ones too, can be restored. That way you're able to function instead of having areas where you short circuit in, areas where you don't want to go there. For example, if you go there, you might check out, your mind might go somewhere else. You might even have the area where you're trying to grasp something in your thoughts or even in your speech, as well as trying to apply yourself to it, but you just can't seem to reach it. It's like a barrier or something in the way. But when you get the help and the prayer needed too, especially, then all of a sudden now you may experience more freedom and more liberty to serve the Father and do things that can glorify the Father and be within His will, as well as to function in a higher quality of life. So when you find such positive people, places, and things to interact with, you seek, you find, you ask, you receive, you knock, it's open to you, so that when you are proactive and you apply yourself, especially in the areas where needed in prayer too, then you can find the things that tend to life, that add value, instead of the negative things that just tear down a lot of people. And here's the thing, people don't even have to go to these temples and be in any denomination. You can just see in the world as it is. Empirical evidence is what they call it in the field of science, where you can see a lot of people that are negative, run down. You're trying to say hi, how's it going? And they're like all negative and everything else, just run down. They don't want to talk. They have the wrong kind of reasons to excuse themselves. You're trying to talk about something positive, something constructive, something good, and they don't get it. They don't want to get it. They don't want to be involved. They want to stick over there to where they can roll around in the mire, to just take a mud bath and be all woe is them and such. And because they're in that self-feeding negative loop, they wonder why different areas are shortchanged, either in them, their lives, or their environment. Some people, as it is in general, they knew what was out there and available for them to get involved in, the right kind of things, especially if they can get help too. They can get set free and put all that pit, out of that ditch, out of the mire, out of that place they've been brought down to, out of that mess that they're in, and actually start to experience on the physical side what life is, And if they seek the faith too, are drawn to the faith, then they can know life and that more abundantly through YHWH HaMashiach, who is sent by the Father. All these philosophers, all these people who want to give you, emotional and sensual quotes, philosophies, thoughts and ideas and so forth, they're passed on. For example, Winston Churchill. Some people like to listen to his stuff, as well as Sigmund Freud, Stalin, Hitler, Gandhi, and all these other individuals out here and so forth. Well, they passed on and moved on. They're physically no more to influence people physically as well as in their minds. But YHWH HaMashiach is still alive, seated at the right hand of the Father. And he administers the role of high priest, so that you can go to the Father, especially those who are born again of the Ruach HaKodesh, to go to the Father in prayer in the name of YHWH HaMashiach. So that whatever you ask the Father in His name, that way, especially if you pray in faith, especially in hope, and some may even pray in expectation, that when they pray, that they believe that it's done, that it's already done. So with that amount of faith, belief, and hope, and expectation, there's areas right there too, especially where the Father is willing to move on and intercede and operate on that situation, as well as on you, especially for your good, to give you expected end, that you continue, endure to the end, as well as your environment and whatever it may be too. So there's a lot of many positive things that can be grasped and had onto and attained, especially when you seek the things that gender towards life, that lead to life, the good things that come from the Father. Because as it is, that has to be specified, because there are things out there that are counterfeit. You wonder why people like celebrities, politicians, famous people, rich people, powerful people and such get where they are in, is because they made the deal. They're in a counterfeit deal, so they have the reward here and now. They took it the wrong direction by taking the shortcuts, the evil kind, and they got their reward here and now. And it's only by their understanding that is given to their mind, as even in the area too, where in some cases, if it doesn't reach their mind right off the bat, they don't get a clue. If the Father seeks to deal with that person, that individual, then they can do something to change up their environment, even have people reach them, especially to reach their mind, so that they may be prepared to receive, primed, and ready to receive the knowledge of the truth, that they may have some kind of level of understanding and information, so that when they're addressed, they may have a clue and they may catch on to it and consider. Because the children of the kingdom are also on one hand called the children of light, because it's the Father's light that shines through them, so that when they're around the environment, people brightening up, especially those that are receptive to His Spirit, the YHWH. And also, they're referred to as having life in them from the Father. And that's a major distinction too, because the trees that the Father planted, His sheepfold, His handiwork, are distinguishable, especially in person, with the results following, because there's even those who can pray and miracles, signs, and wonders happen, and there's those where they're just going about their day, their environment, or their situation, and what they're doing, and miracles, signs, and wonders happen too in the prospective areas. And it's all supposed to glorify the Father, and it can lead people to the Father. So when they seek the good things from the Father, then He can give them favor. Now in this version from the NIV, so different versions, when you go through and reread, it may add to or take away from the meaning of what's being said. But those who fail to find me harm themselves. All who hate me love death. So right there too, there's two things going on. What do politicians do? What do celebrities do? What do charismatic people do? What do sociopaths do? What do cult leaders do? What do narcissists do? What do witches, wizards, warlocks, sorcerers, Satanists, and all the such do? They do whatever they can in the open or in secret, or they even try to say things in secret or in the open to influence you one way or another, if they can, to try to stop you from receiving that breakthrough. That breakthrough that's going to get you to the next step in life. That breakthrough that's going to get you the material, physical, or spiritual to advance you and make you more well equipped in what you got to do or can do, either past, present, or future. Also, the results too. Even those who are coming to the faith, that breakthrough, so that you can reach that area of the faith and move forward, especially those who seek to be water baptized and born again of the YHWH. Even that breakthrough too, to where help can be given to receive prayer and deliverance as well too. So whatever the devil tried to do, it gets shut down And that breakthrough was there to make it possible. Because there's a lot of people who are evil in places small and great. Sometimes you get that friend you knew for a good amount of years, or that family member, or that marital partner, and whoever else you're dealing with out there, where all of a sudden you're seeking the things that come from the Father, or even seeking the Father yourself, seeking to find out what is the faith, to find out that you need to be water baptized and seek the baptism of the YHWH, to be baptized in water in the fire of the YHWH, to burn out all that junk and filth you didn't know that was even there at all, to make you a new person, that you be born again, and that you become a part of the spiritual body of Yeshua HaMashiach, of his sheepfold, his people, and you know the things of the Father that lead to life and that please the Father, and so that you can enjoy and experience part of the kingdom of the Father in the here and now, before you go before the judgment, and you do what's well and what's good before him, before the sight of the Father, so that you be told, well done, good and faithful servant, and enter into the kingdom, and from there continuously enjoy and experience and interact in the kingdom, not only on the spiritual side, but also with it materialized when the new Jerusalem, the new mountain, the new Jerusalem is brought down here with a new temple, so that the Father resides among his creation. And his people forever be with the Father. There are people who do not know any better, individuals of different sorts out there who don't know any better, and when you turn to the Father, whether you say out of your own mouth or say in your own mind consciously, or you may not even know, there are individuals out there that will try to say or do something to keep you from seeking what pertains to the Father. One way or another, seeking the kingdom of the Father first, the kingdom of the Shemaim first, and then all these things be added unto you. So there are people, individuals out there who will try to stop you and try to cause you to feel to come short from being connected with the Father. Just as Adam and Eve was connected with the Father. They had all the benefits when they were in the garden, until the devil came in and did what he can to deceive and mess it up, to try to disconnect them in the hope of trying to kill both of them, so that whatever the Father was originally going to do, try to stop it at the very beginning. So there are people out there who will go out there and try to do things to make your life challenging or your situation challenging, and try to say things to you to try to discourage you or try to keep you from drawing near to the Father, so that he draws near to you, directly or indirectly, of how you draw near to the Father. There's some people where, in some cases, as mentioned, they may openly seek the Father and they finally are born again. And there are those where they're just going through, they're taking their steps through life, and eventually leads them to the door so that they can open up, and when they have their day, have salvation, their day to come, their opportunity, that they could ask and seek. That way, they're water baptized and born again of the YHWH, so that their being is satisfied in that empty place on the insides, that no matter what they try to do before, can be filled. Because these individuals out here in the world, it's shown in Proverbs 1 verse 22, says, "How long, you simple ones, will you love your simple ways?" Isn't that what happens to a lot of individuals out here in the world? They get pacified, they get told a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of empty things. They get intimidated by all sorts of things, like their boss at work, their marital partner, their friends, their family member, their community they're around, their environment, even at the TV. They get pacified and put in place through those various means. Even the thoughts that comes to their mind, the thoughts that try to discourage them or try to lie to them. Also, how long will you scoff, mock? You mockers, you scoffers delight in your scorn, and fools hate knowledge. This is the Berean Standard Version here. Let me pull up here. Berean Standard Version. That just showed up in the search results. It's a helpful translation in this option here too, in this area. Either this got passed on through your generations, so it's either a manner that you just got out of nowhere. For some people, some individuals out here, could be in the DNA, or even the taught behavior from the upbringing. So people like to mock, talk their trash, shake the fist, and just cuss people and things out. And when you're trying to present things to them, they're just stuck in that kind of mode, and they're gonna run their mouth and say some things they should not be saying. Some things that will get this, the kind of things that they go up to say to anyone else, it might get the taste slapped out of their mouth. The kind of recklessness that calls for blows. The kind of things where, if they were to say such things, it may cost them their life. So when you go to certain parts of the world, certain environments, and certain situations, better watch what you say, because there's consequences involved. So you better decide and figure out what's the reward of those consequences. Is it worth it, or is it not? And especially if you've been around religion too, and you've been in and out of different environments, situations, different denominations, different temples, and so forth, and whatever kind of damage they try to do with their bad choices and their bad decisions, as well as bad teachings. They try to turn your heart away from the Father and try to harden your heart to the point to where it's like a clenched fist. It's so tightened and clenched, you just struggle to let go. And whenever someone tries to reach, it's being used to reach you, especially if it's for the good, you're so tightened up and hardened, they might even cause you to shake, either in anger or to mock and talk trash and so forth. Because of all the damage and hurt and all the evil they try to do to turn you out, to make you a scoffer, and even to look at that person and think that whatever they're saying, you can't receive it. You don't want to receive it. You have a justification, a reason that's going to try to encourage you, try to motivate you, and move you from receiving it. So say for example, if it's something small, for example, and whether you was from a denomination such as mainstream Christianity, or you have an individual who's new to the faith and can use some helpful things to get them going. For example, Apostle Paul, he would teach to stay away from fornication. So stay away from the ditty parties, stay away from the, ladies of the night, stay away from all the two-legged dogs, stay away from the people who just want to use you like a piece of meat and just leave you to hang on a rack, just leave you hanging. As well as to stay away from idols such as those personally, I stay away from Nikes, okay? I stay away from Nike products. For your experience, if you know someone who's in the faith, or if you go in prayer and ask the Father and He gives it to you, to find out if at the time being, if you should not wear those products anymore, or pray over them at least. In other cases, some people may be moved to get rid of them and no longer have those products anymore. Some people might even go so far as to say, for example, if it's some expensive Nikes, they may be moved to trash them, even destroy them. Some people might have nice little souvenirs. Yeah, nice looking souvenirs and statues, artifacts, decorations, antiques, and so forth. And one or two things can happen. They might be moved to get rid of those things. Sometimes they might ask someone who's of the faith, in the faith. They even might ask the Father himself, and they may be instructed to get rid of it. So some people might be ex-Freemasons, for example, and they have they have some of those objects that are from Freemasonry, as well as crescent moons, crescents, soul, little sun images, the black sun, pyramids, triangles, certain kind of books, of dogmas of man and so forth, and all these kind of things and such. And even little, trophies and trinkets, little, things like badges of honor and so forth. And they may be communicated either from someone in the faith or from the Father himself, that he deals with them on that level to get rid of those items. And there'll be some rare cases that sometimes the person just wants to seek the Father, draw near, to them, and what will happen is they might receive intervention. Either a quote-unquote accident happens, or all of a sudden out of nowhere the item gets destroyed. And then there's other areas too where either you may receive information in front of your eyes from, for example, scientific sources, medical research. Someone may be talking to you, whether they are a knowledgeable individual. They may be in Islam, from a certain denomination of religion of a different sort. You may be having a conversation with someone and you realize, hey, that sounds like some pretty good information. I might consider it. And then the idea comes in, or your appetite starts to communicate to your mind, but you're thinking, but the stuff, I'm not sure about that. And you may even have some people in the faith where they say, hey, when you're hunting game, for example, trying to get yourself some animals, get yourself some deer, trying to get yourself some elk, trying to get yourself some quail and the such, even trying to get yourself some good quality salmon. And even get yourself some buffalo. Just, they may even try to tell you, like, hey, when you try to get yourself some good quality game, make sure it's a clean bagging, a clean process. You make sure you did what you're supposed to do the right way. You bagged the game the right way. That way you're not trying to, strangle it. There's people out there where they catch game and they do things, okay? People do things out there, okay? People have some interesting ways of hunting game. There's some people who are so athletic and hungry, they'll go over there and jump on the animal and choke it down. I'm telling you. People do things out here. We're out there in the road, and you just can't be doing that kind of stuff. Because when you have game that gets strangled, and even strangles itself, it messes it up. It can mess up the meat. And you're trying to eat that meat and it's just tough. You have to sit there a long time trying to put vinegar to it, trying to put tenderizer to it, and then all these other kind of things to it, trying to marinate it, just to soften out the meat and make it tolerable to eat as well too. So those things to stay away from sexual immorality, fornication, stay away from idols, idolatry. Even if you have to, stop watching your favorite TV shows. Some people, they're like, they got this, they want to be like that kind of person, or they like certain qualities and traits of that character or individual or even actor, and they either are inspired or they kind of want to be like that person. Stay away from that. Back off from that. And especially things strangled, especially away from blood too. There's some countries out here in the world as it is in general, and there's some people on the down low, especially people discreetly, they eat that kind of stuff. They eat it up, they slop it up, they chomp it up, they just eat it like his finger looking good. And you just wonder, how do they not throw up or something like that? What's going on over there? Why are they doing that? But hey, there's people, they unknowingly get wrapped up into things, into different type of appetites. There's people who got it passed on to their generations, even raised up on that kind of stuff. And you start to find out eventually, one way or another, through the easy way, the hard way, or someone's got to talk to you, that those kind of things are not good for you. You got to get away from them. Especially that pork, as well as that lobster, shrimp, those marine creatures that don't have both the fins and the scales, and those land animals that do not have hooves, as well as do not chew the cud together. So there's plenty of land animals that have hooves, split hooves, and chew the cud. Let's not forget chicken. Chicken's good. That's some good stuff. Especially when you cook it just right and prepare it just right. Tastes so good, tastes like chicken, But if you go to the grocery stores and or you go to the cheap farm animals, the cheap farm raised chicken, you're gonna get some small cuts. You're gonna get some of the shrinkflation cuts. And if you look at some of the ingredients of the different ways to prepare chicken, you might see chicken flavor and you don't really think about it, but now you can sit and realize, hey, wait a minute. If I'm gonna cook chicken and eat it, why is there chicken flavor in it? What's going on over here? Something's wrong right here. That's not right. Why does chicken have to be chicken flavored? And why do you have certain cuts of beef that have to be beef flavored? What's really going on? So yeah, those other kind of animals that land animals that do not have split hooves and chew the cud, the grass. Those other animals, they're just nasty. They eat the junk, they eat the garbage. They're made to hold in all that filth. If you find out that pigs eat dung, they eat and drink filth, and they roll in it, they saturate themselves in it, they bask in it, they marinate in it, and they even get bit by swine, get bit by snakes and such. They get soaked up with all that venom, and they continue to walk on, and they don't die. Where do you think all that venom and all that toxin, the toxins, parasites, and all the such go into? It doesn't just go out into their till they're done and their excrements. There's a good amount of it that soaks into their body, especially all that fat that's on them too. And then individuals out there in mass are persuaded that they can just butcher that, or have that thing butchered, and they could just cook its flesh, as well as to honey cure, and that's just gonna fix it. Hell to the no. There's the chronic, and then there's swine. Swine is one hell of a drug. Sometimes you wonder why. Go ahead, give it experiments. Just know I'm not talking trash. Know that what I'm saying, you could put it to the task. Hold fast to that which is good. Prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. So go ahead, test it. Do experiment on yourself. Find out if what I'm saying is true, or if I'm just making things up. Because there's people out there too. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that detail too. You ninjas are slick. Let's get to this detail right here too. There's people who have a high tolerance for toxins. They have addiction to certain things. And you got some sick individuals out here who are just cavemen, cave people, Neanderthals, certified Neanderthals. You wonder why they can eat all that stuff, and they're just like, wild and out like that. They just might be cave people. Their ancestors may have came from a cave. The devil may have just made those bodies, and they're just existing. So this is not to bash anyone. This is just to get specific, in particular, just to get to the facts, because there's going to be individuals out there where they're evil. Their essence is evil. Their nature is evil. Their DNA is evil. Their doings is evil. There's those where they can look at you and say, because they can smoke all these cigarettes and drink all the alcohol and not give up the ghost. To not fall down, croak, and give up the ghost. Nor to get cancer or anything like that sort and such. Because of their high tolerance, for the example right there, for context. For the experiments, quit pork, quit swine, quit shrimp, quit lobster. Go search up a Google search the animals that have, the land animals that have split hooves, split feet, and eat grass, chew the cud. And then go look at the marine animals. Go search them up on the Google search. Find out what marine animals, especially the fish in particular, that have both the fins, and the scales. And spend at least 3, maybe 6 months at least eating those clean animals, those clean meats. And also on the side too, limit your alcohol intake to, if you do, at least once a week. So just enough to where you get enough, you get relaxed on what you wind down, and not to get quote unquote tipsy, not to get into the buzz, not to get buzzed up and start to get into the area of being drunk and so forth. Limit your sugar intake to, if you have to, as well as gluten too. Either have fiber in your pastries, your breads, your breadings, as well as your treats or your desserts. For example, if you're gonna have fruit, make sure that fruit has fiber. It's either low in sugar and has all the right stuff in it too, such as blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, raspberries. Hold back on the cranberries, blackberries, as well as different melons such as cantaloupe, honeydew. If you can, get some papaya. And find some other fruits out there too, and vegetables that are low in sugar, high in fiber, and actually can digest in your body. Limits kale. Kale will mess you up. But kale's delicious. Oh yeah, you really have to cook down that kale and almost make it like slushy, just to get rid of the oxalates in it. Because if you're trying to eat kale for its vitamin K, all those oxalates, all those things that defend the plants, will mess you up and give you all the stuff in your body, all these buildups in your body that will mess with you, and you will have to spend months, even years, to flush it out of your body. That way you can get rid of things that build up your body to cause conditions. And also, what else? Oh yeah, no cigarettes, no chemicals. If you can't get off the medications, because most of those medications are not made to sustain your health. They're only there to shut off parts of your anatomy, frustrate parts of your anatomy, such as parts of your brain and your nervous system and functions of your health, and to mess with them too, just so they can incapacitate and prevent inflammation in certain areas, certain disorders and dysfunctions and so forth. Whereas if you learn about the herb of the field, you can turn around and flush things out of your body, as well as help your body to rejuvenate and regenerate itself, so that it can restore itself and you can function properly. Then drink some good quality water where it actually has a hint of salt in it. That way the water actually sticks to your body, and it's at least filtered, or spring water. So if you can get your water from a good water station where it's filtered and it's maybe alkaline, where it's ionized water, or if you just get a decent filter system, whether it be your refrigerator, your sink, or your water source, or you got a well, whatever you can. Check your water in quality and make sure there's salt in it too, like a hint of salt in there too. That way the water actually sticks to your body instead of just going right through you and draining you. Try going kosher for about 3 to 6 months at least. Find out how your health comes out. And if you're gonna get into the greens, like all these green products and so forth, the greens to, ease into it, because people may try to detox too fast. Especially when you have things that are down to the really deep levels. It takes a while to get those out of your system. Especially vegetable oil, like the corn oil, soybean oil, artificial canola oil, and so forth. That stuff takes a good amount of time to get out of your system over the months. Find out how your health can actually change by going to the quote-unquote kosher style. Going kosher, the kosher diet. KOSHER, kosher. The actual kosher, not that silly one over there that's a counterfeit. If someone's trying to get you to eat kosher pig, kindly decline and be about your business and just move forward from there. Because some people, you're trying to give them some nuggets, some useful information. You're trying to give them some serious game, especially when it comes to different areas of life, such as health. They're gonna look at you and tell you, well, in my opinion, well, that's just your opinion. That's your truth. That's your X, Y, and Z. Oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're all that and so forth on X, Y, and Z and so forth? There are people who will give you lip over something that's trying to help them. It says right there. Let's be specific here, because there's areas where people still have to learn, especially those who are in the faith. As mentioned a couple minutes earlier, there's things you grew up with, you were taught, not taught. There's lies taught to you as well as enforced. And there's things that may have been inherited from the generations behind you. So there's spirits of the fool, of foolishness. So when people seek the help that they want in that specific area, that they may need, especially in deliverance, then they get the spirits of the fool cast out of them, as well as hatred towards knowledge and hatred for knowledge. That way, whatever's blocking them in that area and trying to keep them from receiving, then they have the freedom to decide to receive, to hear, and it be pliable to their minds. And sometimes you may have someone over you in authority, such as a natural family member who knows better, and they may have a clue too. Someone may be an authority over you and be used to try to reach you, either from a positive standpoint or from a negative standpoint, to try to reach you some kind of way, whether it's to a temporary hurt or to really cause you to make you think, to try to get you to think, to stimulate thought, to bring forth some thinking into your faculties. So verse 23 of Proverbs 1, if you have turned away, repented, turn away from your actions at my reproof, at my rebuke, at my scolding, at my correction, at my admonishment, then surely I want to pour out my ruach, my spirit on you. I would have made my words known to you. So what's the example of that being said? When you can hear the shepherd calling to you, YHWH HaMashiach, whom the Father sent in His name. So if you're one of His sheep and you hear His voice, do not harden your heart. Consider, hear, listen. Especially when you are born again of the Ruach HaKodesh, then there's areas where when you hear information, communication, words, even expressions given to you, especially when it's from the Father, then all of a sudden you may have that opportunity given to you at the moment where you get it at the snap of a finger. Like that. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like that, for example. Because some areas when you try to talk to people, especially if they're just either not born again, they're being drawn to the faith, or even just people in general out there in the world, there's different things where you try to talk to them and communicate, and it's either their natural mind, the flesh, or there's something going on there where they're being blocked, where it's not clicking for them. They're struggling to get it, because it shows right in the letters too. Whom the mighty one of this world has blinded their minds. And that's the attempt of the devil, especially with the demons that he has with him, to try to influence the people externally or internally, one way or another, to keep them from comprehending what's being said pertaining to the faith, from what's being presented before them, that they may grasp it and receive it and draw near. And let's go back to the Proverbs 8 here. And the second part here says, all those who hate me love death. There it is right there. Why do people are gravitating to negativity that you see out here in different areas where they just are comfortable being negative, being run down, as well as trying to run you down too? Be an energy vampire, be a leech, just be full of nagging, complaining, murmuring, griping, being toxic, salty, offended, all up in their feelings and so forth, and just being difficult and so forth, is because in the areas either in general that is common, or even in specific areas, especially where they may be affected in and being blocked in, where they struggle to receive wisdom, especially if they struggle to receive the knowledge of the truth. Because that is one example too, where some people, no matter how brilliant they are, how gifted, skilled, and talented they are in the mind as well as in abilities, they reject, refuse, and they discard the knowledge of the truth, the illumination of the good news to the inward parts that they may have life and have it more abundantly. When they reject it and they spurn it, they really try not to be reconciled and connected to the Father. They could be given up. They could receive their reward, their consequences, especially of rejecting the knowledge of the truth, especially if they reject the love of the truth. So some people, they may look 10 years older than how they are, or they may be run down in different kind of ways because they don't want to receive, or they haven't received yet, and they're just being run down by the devil and his demons. Just death trying to work its evil towards them, one way or another. So that goes back to the point, why do people hate when you're trying to lace them up, trying to give them knowledge, trying to give them some game, trying to give them some wisdom, even trying to get them some good advice, some sound counsel, sound wisdom, and so forth. And they go down that road and they just keep connected to the negativity, and it just runs them down. It's because of that moment they are enjoying death. Well, there's different kinds of death, of course. There's the death where YHWH HaMashiach will rebuke the spirit of death to leave a person, and life will come back to that person. So they would be drawn back up and to continue around their own family members. Even that one young man who was being carried off in his tomb, and he was the only son, and his mother had to see him, the only son, be carried off to the grave. And so from a cultural standpoint, when a mother has only one son and he's of a certain age to where he can work and help around the house, especially to help pay for the means, and then eventually save up and have his own family, and where needed have his mother taken care of by either extended family or however it needs to be done, so that she's taken care of, especially in old age, and he can save up and take care of himself too, and provide, especially when he has his own family. So his only son was laying dead in the tomb, or where the deathbed that he's being taken off on. And so Yeshua HaMashiach raised him from the dead and restored him back to his mother. As well as that maiden, he was falling asleep, and he told the people that she was asleep and not dead, because they were seeing her as dead because she was unresponsive and laid down. And so all those unbelieving people had to be put out of the house, and he went over there and raised her up. And so she was restored back to her dad and mother, and to have food prepared. They were instructed to have food prepared for her so she could eat and recuperate, so she can eat after being raised up. And then there's another well-known example where Lazarus was said, "Lazarus, come forth." And even though his body was laid down for 3 days at least, and he was wrapped up, and he came out of the tomb, and that's where many people were taken off guard, being surprised by the power of the YHWH. By the power of the kingdom of heaven being shown forth, where Yeshua HaMashiach, also known as Jesus Christ, went forth doing good and doing so many deeds that if it were written down, perhaps not even maybe not even the books of the world could contain it all. Not even the books of the world can contain it. So he was busy doing the Father's will. And the thing too is that many people recognize him a certain way too. And so after he was water baptized, and the YHWH came down and rested on him. So just as it came down and rested on him, it came down gently to rest on him. So when people say that it came down like a dove and rested on him, what's being expressed is that it came down and it rested on him. If you ever dealt with large animals or medium-sized animals, especially animals like falcons, when they come and perch on you, you have all that. They have to control their flight trajectory, their motion in the air, as well as their balance, their center of mass, and aerodynamics, and so forth. And then they gotta cleave onto you with enough pressure. So when they come and rest and land on you, it takes a lot of coordination for them to rest on you. So medium-sized animals, especially hawks, they're gonna come and perch on you, come and rest on you. They gotta hold onto you, to grasp onto you a certain way. And so what's being expressed is that when the YHWH comes upon him, it rests on him, gently, without too much applied force. So those who are drawn to life, they can receive the things that belong to the Father, because they come from the Father. Because there are other things out here, such as third-hand things, including wise sayings and so forth, that people have out here in the world, that to some capacity originated from the word of the Father, that originated from the Father. So either in word and function, to some kind of extent, the good things originated from the Father, the authentic ones. Because there are generic things out here to where it has some kind of level of truth or validity to it. And there's just things out here where you don't need to be messing with it. It may even be, corrupt, polluted, defiled, and even counterfeit too. So it helps to know or find out where you got certain things from, as it is. And let's get to the good part here of this. So, beginning of Proverbs 8, does not wisdom call out? So, to begin on this point here, referring to several minutes ago in this video, is that you have all these ministering spirits, all these angels, these good spirit, these etheric beings that come from the Father, that originate from the Father and remain with the Father. So you have the spirit of wisdom, and then you have multiple spirits, multiple types of it too. For example, you have different types of wisdom, you have different types of strength, you have different types of keenness, cleverness, understanding, insight, foresight, revelation, comprehension, light, truth, and many others that are good and beneficial and are of the Father, that it can bring forth His will the more so, to do His will, to accomplish it, to accomplish His work, even the complete task that it contributes, especially for the good, where it's towards His kingdom. So right here, first and foremost, when you desire wisdom, especially those who are born again of the YHWH, you make yourself available to be instructed and taught wisdom, especially to pray and seek for authentic wisdom, true wisdom, and endure different trials, tests, tribulation, and situations. Then authentic wisdom can be given to you in various means and ways, so that when you have it, you can function in it. And achieve and do things that you previously would have not been able to do nor say. Then you have another ministering spirit here too, understanding. Does not understanding raise her voice. At the highest point along the way where the paths meet, she takes her stand. Besides the gates leading into the city, at the entrance she cries aloud, "To you, O people, I call out. I raise my voice to all mankind. You who are simple, gain prudence. You who are foolish, set your minds on it. Listen, for I have trustworthy things to say." That is also another ministering spirit too. Trustworthy, faithfulness, accountability. I open my lips to speak what is right. So you can also seek for purity, innocence, as well as a guard. To ask the Father to put a guard over your eyes, as well as your mouth too. Even your nose if it need be too. Even on your members too, so that whenever you're about to do something wrong, then you have something you're gonna get some extra help there to keep you from doing the wrong kind of thing. For example, someone may say some very provoking things, and you need that extra measure of help to keep you from running towards the comment section. Yeah, running towards the comment section and either being a keyboard warrior or being a keyboard ninja or being a social media ninja. Even from taking the bait when someone's trying to bait you real good. Especially if they're trying to bait you with something very juicy, that we can get that extra help to turn away from it. My mouth speaks what is true. Truth. From my lips detest, hates, wickedness, evil. All the words in my mouth are just. So just, integrity, upright. Those are also ministering angels. You can ask the Father to send to you, as well as others, even to pray to receive in the name of YHWH HaMashiach. That way, if you're struggling in certain areas, or you need that extra bolster, that extra kick, then you can get more results from the help needed. All the words in my mouth are just, none of them are crooked or perverse. So we find people who don't want to be wise. They just want to exist and do whatever they can to maximize the pleasures in this life, even going so far as to make a deal with the devil so they can enjoy a bunch of power, money, and whatever tickles their fancy. They may say some crooked, perverse things and even try to be crooks and perverse in different ways, just so they can enjoy the deal that they made, the benefits that they made in the deal. To the discerning, all of them are right. So you can also seek for discernment too. They are upright to those who have found knowledge. So when you find information, you're getting a clue, even going down a trail of information, even getting some useful material that gives you advantage in different areas. It can lead you to applied knowledge, to wisdom, to skill. That way, not only just in one area you can grow in, but also in others, and gain a measure of wisdom in certain areas that would throw off a lot of individuals, especially evil ones. Someone's trying to play some 4D chess with you. You have wisdom, and you have the Father with you. Those jokers are done. They don't want that smoke. And here's where it gets very good, right here. Seek to be instructed, to obtain knowledge, and gain wisdom. Because a lot of people who have deep pockets, they'll just pay their way out of anything and towards whatever they can get. If they can find a price tag, or they can put a price tag on it, they'll throw their money at it. If they can bribe someone, if they can, just pay the fine, just do whatever they can to answer all matters of money, they're gonna try to do it. They're gonna try to finesse their way out with their wallet. They're gonna try to slide their way out with a debit card or with a bank card. These people, I tell you. You wonder why some celebrities and some rich people go broke, and they gotta go back for another film to act in, another boxing match, another UFC fight, another football game to perform in, to go back into the NFL, go back in the NBA, to perform another match, another season, another contract, and so forth. Because whatever they get involved in, especially if they're going to go buy themselves a whole bunch of products, just consume and just consume and consume, get into consumerism, they're going to throw their money at it instead of being instructed at gaining knowledge and obtaining going through the process to obtain wisdom, to be instructed, gain knowledge, and attain wisdom. Because these people want to make the wrong decisions. They don't want to do the mature thing, the grown-up thing, the things that actually make sense, that may even take a little bit of pain, some sacrifice, some discipline, some effort, some trial and error, some counseling, some actual effort, even if it means you're going to be tested and perhaps pushed to your limits to reach that level of progress, that level of discipline, that level of self-control, that level of control over yourself and your members, whether it's your speech, your eyes, your thoughts, to get control over those running thoughts or those ideas that communicate to you that are just not right, so that you can actually hear and listen and process thought too, without distractions or something getting in the way and so forth. There's people where they're just gonna, again, throw their money at it instead of getting instructed and taught, so that they can actually do some real things, to actually come up with some real answers, solutions, or a way out of their situation. Now here's a nice, or actually a good resume. Because even in the New Testament, YHWH would say to the people, he who has less, whatever he has will be taken away from him. So if someone has a poverty mindset and they give into it, or they have a poverty attitude, behavior, mindset, as well as behavior pattern and way of function and so forth, things that impoverish them, such as consumerism, instant gratification, doing things that are for convenience and comfort, just buying things or doing things because they sounded good or looked good, or whatever else that brings them into subjection, that enslaves them and makes them servants and puts them in captivity, that makes them serve it instead of the thing, whoever they are using to serve them instead. They're going to miss out by taking that direction. For those who consider and they desire to grow and want to contribute the more so they give of themselves, and they even seek the fuller so that they can receive, and also, where possible, give it to. Here's the catch. To him who has much, more is given to him. So that's not word for word verbatim, but it's the general idea where they have much, more is given to them. And you also have the parable too, where you have the servant. You have someone who's got the 5 talents. Then you have someone who has either 3 or 2. Then you have the 1 talent servant. Someone who got 5, they have plenty of resources. They have plenty of material, whether it was physical, spiritual, or both, to abound in, and they went out there and they applied themselves. They went to go learn, do things, as well as to grow over time, to just keep expanding and just keep getting better and better. Because they received applied knowledge, they were being instructed, getting information and everything they can to do this thing and to do that thing, and whatever they're doing to set themselves to. They came back to the master and said, hey, I took your 5 talents and increased it to 10. And then the other who had some kind of extra on his hands, the 2 or 3 talent servant, at least he came in and brought in a return as well too. He increased what he had. He had some some flexibility there too, to an extent. And the 1 talent servant, the master knew what he was going to do, so he just He gave him just enough to occupy for the meantime. All he could have done is at least put it to the changers, at least just apply themselves so that whatever, even if they get some bit increase out of it, some results out of it, at least he can give it back to the master and say, hey, I can only do so much with this, but at least you have a return on this. Here, take it. And at least get some kind of credit for it. At least get off the hook. Because there's also that other parable where there's this one servant who's being accused of wasting his master's goods. And so what happened is he was quick. He was swinging. This guy was swinging bullets, I'm telling you. He was swinging up a monsoon. He was under the pressure big time. He knew that if he didn't do something fast in a hurry, he was in a position to beg. If he didn't do something right then and there, he was going to be out there on the street begging, and even out of a job, out of work. And it could even be more ugly. He could even be in trouble for messing up, for not bringing in the results, for not balancing the budget, and for even cooking the books. So what he did is he turned around and said, hey, look, and he got his creditors that owed his master some resources, and said, hey, look, how much you owe, and one person would say 50, and you say, look, make it 30, and let's consolidate this deal, okay? And they made it happen. The other person, they had so much, and you say, okay, make it 20 or so. And then he settled that debt as well too. And the third person, he said, just make it 5, just make this quick. And then he just turned in hit the return, the gains, the debts that was owed to his master from his creditors, and said, here you go. This is all I can mess it up out of the creditors. And at least he got commended, and he got off the hook. Some of you some of you just have to rub your 2 nickels and just get a few cents out of it and just say, here you go, and get off the hook. So that you don't, get in the position of the one talent servant. So what's being said into this, where this plugs in is because some people who actually want to be teachable, who want to be taught, who want to get it and seek it, and with wherever they are at in and how they receive information and so forth, how they're reached, how they're communicated one way or another, so that they're instructed. Here's the thing. When the beginning of wisdom is first get wisdom. So you gotta want it. You gotta desire it. You gotta seek after it. You have to make it a goal, a priority, at some area to desire to obtain it. So what also comes along with wisdom? Prudence. Being able to balance the budget. Being able to have some kind of a type of self-control to be able to be content. So whenever you're conservative with some matters and people call you a prune, just brush it off. Don't even receive it, because as much as they're trying to call good evil, they're sitting there justifying their evil by saying it's good, when their so-called good is actually destroying and just decaying and demolishing, and just it's breaking them down. It's to their own detriment. Also, what comes with wisdom, knowledge, discretion. So when you gotta say something or do something specific, you know, to some extent, as well as learn how to maneuver in such areas. Because some people, they just like to talk about Fight Club. What's the first rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. What's the second rule of Fight Club? You do not talk about Fight Club. What's the third rule? What is the third rule of Fight Club? You do not talk about Fight Club. When someone comes up to you and says, hey man, you want to talk about X, Y, and Z and so forth? And you just look at them in the face and say, what you talking about, Willis? Or you just, you find a way of being the screen and say, hey, I would like to talk right now, but I'm kind of occupied right now with X, certain things right now, or I don't have time for this, or right now I need to focus my mind on something else right now before I forget what I'm gonna do or say, or I have something I'm focusing on right now, so I have to get to you later about this matter or whatever it is, or I can't deal with that right now. Just give me time, or give me some space, or just need some space right now. Just let them know so that they don't pull you into the situation, or you don't jump into a situation that you don't need to be involved in at the wrong place, wrong time, and especially with the wrong kind of people. Because some people want to come up into you and know about your business when it's none of their business. What's the Italian slang? Maybe it's not even an Italian proverb. Maybe it's just a cliche, or someone may call it. Everyone's business is nobody's business, and nobody's business is everyone's business. It sounds like double speech, but it's to say it's where you don't go around being a nosy person, and stuff you're doing in secret that's not supposed to be done. People need to know about that. That stuff needs to. That work in darkness needs to be exposed, so that people can consider and turn away from that. And if you're responsible for such things, you don't do it anymore. You turn away from it. You make the opportunity and time to bring the change and bring in those results of change. Also what comes in further, the reverence of Yahweh, as well as to hate evil. Some people have a surface level of hatred towards evil, where they hear something or they see something or experience something and realize it's wrong. And there's other areas where it's great to them, or they don't know that it's wrong. And then when they're informed, especially when they're born again at the Ruach HaKodesh, it clicks to them, or it comes to their understanding, and they realize they can't be messing with that anymore. They have to turn away from that. They have to put themselves in it separate, with enough space to where they express a healthy level of hatred for it. As well as to be humble, have some humility, instead of being proud and arrogant, because pride leads to a fall, and a haughty spirit leads to destruction. Pride leads to destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So having some humility and humbleness can get you to a lot of places, to the right places too. Sometimes you just gotta stick into your place and keep your cool. Some areas you gotta speak up and be proactive instead of assuming. Because what is the cliche about that? And I'm going to dress this up just for convenience of some people. Assuming makes a donkey out of you and out of me. So when you assume, you're trying to clown me out and you're trying to clown yourself out. And I do not receive that in the name of YHWH HaMashiach. Then you have evil behavior. That's a dead giveaway right there. People doing things they should not be doing. If you need help to get away from that kind of stuff, as well as talking sideways, because I'm telling you, either of yourself or people around you in your environment or that you know of, they either have gotten to, or it's in them somewhere that they have some of the wrong stuff of words and works that do not belong there, and asking for the reverence of Yahweh to be there, even to receive it, as well as to come upon that person, even the place or thing. That's a game changer. You can work with that. You can get some results when you ask in prayer for that. Oh yeah, what's this here too? That's also good. Counsel. Sometimes someone needs counsel. Sometimes you need counsel. Sometimes you may want to ask the Father for a spirit of counsel. That way, whenever you're thinking of something and you're just trying to process it, trying to figure out, trying to grasp it, trying to make sense of this, whatever it is, as well as sound judgment, make some sound decisions, to look at something and process it and realize, okay, this is good, that's bad, that could have been done better this way, or it could be like in that way, and so forth. It's also make right decisions and to say the right things where needed too. So far, these positive things, this comes with wisdom, insights, so you can have the function to look into something, or to have a perception, to have a knowing on something, to catch it, so to have the scoop on something. Power. Oh, there's different forms of power. You can go talk to crowds, muster up a following, and if you're doing it for the right reason too, and they have healthy connections with you, healthy relationship with you, whether it's friends or followers and so forth, associates and such, you can say, hey, and go talk to them, and you got some manpower as well as mind power involved in too, some minds involved in it too. So if you need to make some moves, pull some support and so forth, you can get yourself some results. As well as power there too, where in the spiritual side too, when you go into prayer, sometimes you may need to you may want to ask the Father for prayer and power, so that when you say the scriptures, you may have it come to you, either your mind or thoughts or inspiration, to pray for certain things, as well as when you're praying against evil and the kingdom of the darkness, that you can pray certain parts of the scriptures, and all of a sudden these start to make sense to you. You start to grasp it and it starts to flow, so that when you pray, you can get some results and get things moving and shaking. And why would you want these ministering angels, these ministering spirits, these angels that are of the kingdom of the Father, involved in your life or your environment, or wherever you would go in prayer for them to go to? It's because you can achieve some solid results. You can get some, for example, like a retentive mind, a teachable spirit, humility, understanding, comprehension, a sharp mind, as well as recall, retention, and the like. If you're handling information, especially if you're trying to apply yourself to do some paperwork, and you need to do some serious paperwork, some serious processing of information, especially on the computer too, and so forth, then you could become more illustrious, more brightened in your faculties and your ability to function and do and speak and say things and write them and so forth, to overcome that hunch, that blockage and barrier. Especially when you have to say or do something that's very technical and challenging. That prayer for the requests of those ministering spirits could be what you need to achieve that breakthrough, as well as going to the next level in certain areas, so that you can overcome, and the Father gets the credits. Because when you have an outside looking in, and then you have these details disclosed to you, you can consider actual legitimate kings who've existed. They had either of themselves, as well as their counsel, and others who've given them information and applied themselves to their services. They have had some serious effort, some serious brain power, some serious ideas, as well as actions considered and applied, so that they can rule over people, to bring in results from their authority over others. Especially to make laws, decrees, rules, expectations, instructions, and so forth that actually make sense and work, as well as governors over regions, nobility, the upper class, the wealthy, the people who got some money in their pocket, especially some excellent high quality ideas or skills, especially those who have a head on their shoulder, to bring in some results, to get some things moving and shaking, especially if you're trying to expand and grow and take things to the next level. So those who receive wisdom, as well as enjoy the application of wisdom, who use it often, like they use it like a muscle, who apply wisdom, you have the opportunity of a positive feedback to where you just keep receiving and keep receiving. For wherever you sow, you shall also reap. Look at that. And those who seek me find me. So hey, if you're serious about seeking for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, counsel, some applied knowledge, some skill, and so forth, you're serious about applying yourself, even if it's going to be challenging you and tough, you can find it. You have hope once you obtain it. And then you have those where they apply themselves in the physical side. So there's areas where the spiritual matter greatly, such as Daniel, who told what the meaning of the writing on the wall meant, and as a result, he was given a position in Babylon, in the reign of Babylon, as well as a nice robe, a ring, or a nice robe, and he was given much substance. As well as then you have other examples such as Abraham, were in the Apocryphal books, and one of them, he was snatched up and thrown into the furnace. He went in there 3 days without being burnt, walking about. And then Nimrod told him to come out of the fire. And when he was brought out, he was given much substance. And many people that at that point of time, especially those who were alive in those days at Babylon, pretty much just about everyone alive at that time got to see what happened. Many people seen for their own eyes what happened, where Abraham was thrown into the furnace and he was not burnt, but preserved. And so people considered and plenty believed and received the faith. They received the knowledge of the faith. So he would teach them the ways of Yahweh Elohim, and they would take that and move on from when they would stop by his villa, his plot of land that he worked on. So he would teach them things of the Father, and they would prosper because of what he would instruct them and teach them. Especially the poor too, who would go from one gate, they would go out the other gate with some money in their pocket. They would be sustained and have some information and instruction given to them where needed. So that way they can move forward from there. And there's areas out here too where if you find something that works, or you know how to work something that is either demanding, high value, or it's one of those things that are tentacle, Or if you know how to do it, it pays out good. Yeah, having wisdom and the like with you, it brings in some serious results, such as riches, income, money attained, wealth, honor, an actual respected name, wealth that has longevity to it, and not just financial prosperity, but also prosperity to prosper in other areas too. You can even prosper in health. You can even prosper in spirit. You can even prosper in different situations in your life, as well as prosper in the things that you put your hands to, as well as your mind to, even your resources and skills too, such as investments and so forth, and other things that are tangible that matter as well too. I mean, look at that. The results. See, the results you can attain when you apply yourself and you gain these things, especially these ministry spirits that help you do what you gotta do. You can get in more results than what you would get from derivatives and such. Hey, some people they invest in gold and they love themselves some gold derivatives. One that gets something that can make you more return, especially if it's in the spiritual area, so that even if you receive a portion in this life, but at the resurrection you be kind of worth it to go into the kingdom. You get this reward that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, what the Father prepared for you because you love Him. Are you going to be ready to receive it when you see and hear it? It'll give you something to occupy with, though. That's one thing for sure. And so why it matters here too is that to verse 22. Oh yeah, let's stop by verse 21 real quick. Making their treasuries full. So there's material things and there's immaterial things. So back then, people used to pay you real good. If you had a good head on your shoulders, or you knew how to do something with your hands, and you were gifted in those areas, you weren't going to stand before obscure people. You're going to stand before some important individuals, especially if they were kings and nobility and people of means and position. They had a way of what's it go again? Making you worthy of your hire. And so some of these things are immaterial as well too, especially spiritual. Some people went through physical things and then they received a reward afterwards, a gain afterwards. And there's others where it is deposited into the inward parts, in the soul, the spirit, even the mind. especially those who are born again of the YHWH, the kingdom of the Shemayim, the kingdom of the Father is within. And to break up those earthen vessels, to break up the ground, to shake up to shake yourself, to shake up the move, the gifts, the talents that's within, so that whatever treasures are within and deposited within can be brought forth. So there's people where they have different paths and different means of obtaining their success. Some people may have to go through much trial and practice, and even if possible, if needed, to go into prayer, to seek the Father, so that they can find out what it is that they have to do. What are they skilled in? What are their gifts, skills, talents, abilities? What were they made for too? And what their lot is? What kind of work they're supposed to be doing? What kind of things in life they're supposed to be doing too? And so forth. Even to ask what kind of things they need to say and do and so forth, especially if they were made for certain duties or tasks, because some people, they got some serious skills. They just need to find the right people, places, or things to take it to. So with this in particular here, it gets very specific. If someone was just born yesterday or a few years ago, or they only know so much and are limited in certain areas, why would you cap yourself at that one area when there's plenty of counselors, plenty of people to reach out to, as well as instruction that you can receive that are more experienced and have a longer track record? Because there's some people where, as it is, it's a habit where you gotta have some people where they have they go through puberty, and because of how they've been raised and conditioned and what's affecting them too, they think they'll go up to you and think they either think or talk or act like they know it all. And so with such crowds, even with them, you gotta navigate around them too, to just move forward instead of being caught up in all the whole riffraff and such, to get out of the unpleasant situation. And there's some people where they are skilled at being cheerful, positive, motivated, self-motivated, have the drive, the determination, and all these many other qualities and skills that keeps them going forward to do what they gotta do, even if it is to rejoice in what they do. So when they do what they gotta do, and they attain the results, they can enjoy the work of their hands, what they apply themselves to, and give the glory, credit, thanks, and appreciation to the Father at the conclusion matter. So the people who they like, enjoy, or even love negativity, because there's death behind it, and it's either they don't know what they're doing, or they know what they're doing, and they do it with a passion too. Especially witches, wizards, warlocks, and such. They like to drag people down with them. Oh, and how's the saying go too? The saying goes that misery loves company. So there's plenty of miserable people who they don't want to change their situation. They don't want to turn it around. They don't want to better themselves, their environment, or the situation, or find out what is better or best for them. Either for certain periods of time, for certain situations, and they may learn the hard way after getting so many stripes, or struggling, or tolerating it. Otherwise, they don't snap out of it, because either it's at their own free will, or from people trying to keep them from obtaining what they need to do that leads to life in themselves, their situation, environment, and so forth. The most that it can go to is that they spend all these years here in this world, and they have not attained, they have not suffered nor reached, and their time was wasted. All the opportunity, effort, and possibility for them to turn it around, be turned around, and even get out of their situation or their environment, wasted, taken away, held back, and especially with the lack of desire to seek the solution, the answer, and how to get out of it all, how to move forward, how to do something about it. There are plenty out there who that can be reached at certain areas for certain points and certain reasons. And there's others where they're going to block themselves off, even harden their hearts, harden their minds, and even resist and refuse and give kickback, even run their mouths and refuse to be able or willing to receive and hear and consider. So with them, they miss out on all these many good things and qualities and quantities of value, especially of the good things that comes from the Father, that originate from the Father. And if they were to consider, they would learn of His ways. And concerning those that actually matter, want to apply themselves and learn, appreciate them because, as is shown in 2nd Esdras, this current contemporary world was made for many, but the world to come for few. So whoever remains at the coming of Yeshua HaMashiach and the kingdom is brought down, the new Jerusalem with the new temple, and Yahweh Elohim resides, makes his abode down here with men. At least they have a potential to learn, because the prophets speak of this especially, where men from other nations are gonna grab the garment, the tzitzit, in some translations, to hold on to grab the garments of a Judean, of a Israelite man, and ask for them to go with them to learn the ways of Yahweh Elohim. And there are men being worked out in progress too. So wherever lack or shortage of marriage they have, what's shown in Isaiah, it means what it means. There will be many females that will seek a man, possibly seek a man, or even a male at least, and they're gonna seek at least a male, if possible, a man as is. 7 women will lay hold of one man to take away their reproach. They're going to have their own food, their own clothing. Just let them be called by his name. So there's plenty of individuals that even in the millennial kingdom can be dealt with in specific areas, especially when the children of the king in renewed bodies go up to that stream and drink from the stream, to drink wisdom, to drink up wisdom that flows from the throne seat. There's going to be much that can be done, and is possible to be done, especially in the kingdom where the devil and his demons are dealt with. The devil is bound for 1,000 years so that he can no longer deceive humanity. And so that's what happens within the kingdom. Can move forward from there until the time comes forth, and after the devil is thrown into the lake of fire, then a new Shemayim, a new heaven, and a new earth is brought forth. So the people who don't want to be making better choices, nor seek better decisions for themselves, at least appreciate those who can be dealt with it, even if there are so many here, there, and far about in different places. Because with them, at least they're tangible. At least they can be dealt with. They can be inspired, moved, encouraged, and worked on and improved. Especially others where perhaps, just perhaps, maybe through prayer and seeking the Father, perhaps even more people can be dealt with, because a good example is even some of those who are in the faith, who have been born again of the YHWH. Some people may have had to pray for you a couple times and sought the Father on your behalf so that He can deal with you, baptize you, and rebirth you by the YHWH to the baptism of water and of fire and the indwelling of the YHWH, so that you become a new creature, so that whatever you was stuck in, or involved in, you can turn away from that, and it can no longer have any power over you, and the Father can be with you to help you overcome and have the victory, and He be glorified, so that you can live, not die, and prosper in His hand. So it is reasonable to take encouragement and instruction and consideration in the different points and areas of this here too, so that going forward you can maneuver even better than what you originally did beforehand. And if you go back and listen to this and consider, there's some useful tools in here too for those who are in different areas and may want to consider different areas of application, applying yourself, especially in prayer too, and as well as physical tasks and duties and labor and work and so forth, to apply yourself to see what else can be done, so that you get something with your time that's worthwhile, and that's especially fitting in the sight of the Father.